All right, so we should be live. And if we are, and the first thing you're hearing from us is like, subscribe, share, do all those free fun things for us before you start listening. Just hit the thumbs up.
Free
it's right
and
there.
fun. Free and fun.
Well, it's fun for us too. You know what I mean? It helps us grow, which, by the way, hit a new high on the live stream last week. So let's keep it going. Let's keep those views coming in. And yeah, like, subscribe, share, do it all.
It's easy.
Yeah.
It's free.
It's free.
It's fun.
And here we are. So with me today, well, we'll get into introductions in a minute, but as Louis clearly joining in today. Clearly joining in today.
Our fourth member of the team. He misses Joey too.
Well, who doesn't? To be honest, who doesn't miss
What
Joey?
up, Louis?
So Joey is unable to join us in studio, but he is able to join us live. So we are always happy to have Joey here with us. So thank you to Joey for joining us.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Yeah. So let's get some music playing. What do you guys think? I mean, I feel like moving and grooving. I need to bump the spirit up because I'm going to start down a little bit, and I feel like we're going to go up as the show goes. Well, we got to start down, but you can never be down when you hear the start of the show. When you hear the music, it's just a good, funky beat.
I mean, my favorite part's hearing you say, "It's so good to be back."
Right? It is good to be back each and every time.
I enjoy it very much.
It's a lot of fun to do this, and like I said, regardless if I ever make money doing it, I just love sitting here talking sports with you guys. It's cathartic for me. It's therapeutic for me, and this show, in some way, especially the start of it, is going to be a little bit therapeutic, probably for me and for Joey. So let's get some music playing. Let's get it going.
Joey,
I got to remember to hit the.
Joey, please tell me you're dancing out. Please.
Definitely am.
My man.
But I got to remember to hit the.
You got to hit record. See, Joey's not here, so I almost forgot to remind you. Did you forget to start streaming too?
No, I got that.
Okay.
This is a recording.
No, we're streaming. And we have
sound.
sound.
Computer now, so this way later I can. I got you. All right, we're gonna play one more time just because it's fun. Here we go. Starting now.
Still hit record.
It's good to be back.
Oh man, let's go.
Back with my friends. Hanging out, Mr. David Hastings to my right, joining us via phone today, Mr. Joey D. Unfortunately, unable to make it here, but still able to make it to the show, and we always appreciate that because, listen, we always value his opinion. And I need to start off here, Dave, and I hate to start here because it's a bummer. It's a bummer for me. It's a bummer for Joey. It's probably the last time for a little while you're going to hear me play this.
Oh, thank God. It's my favorite time of year.
So, yeah, Joey, World Series definitely didn't end up. We didn't get swept. Got the gentleman's sweep, but we didn't get swept. But, I mean, how devastated were you with that fifth inning? And where I want to really start is because I knew it. Once Judge dropped that fly ball, I knew where the game was going after that. And it really was that moment where, okay, the season's wrapping up now. And I hate to say that because you don't never want to give up in a tie game in the fifth inning, but you could just see that sucked the air out of the room, and the big game four they had kind of went by the wayside. And I mean, even just before that, the Judge drop, and I don't know, I'm just very frustrated. We got exposed in a lot of different ways. We got exposed on the base pass. We got exposed with our defense. And Joey, I just got to hear from you, man. What are your thoughts on the way this season ended for New York? Because it wasn't the way we had hoped. Although, I'll be honest, I can't look at it as a failed season. They were the best team in the AL. They made it to the World Series, and they lost to a good Dodger team who exposed them. So as much as I want to, think we got robbed, I don't think we did in this case, and it's sad to say that. But Joey, let me hear. What do you got?
I mean, this is the typical Yankee year. They at one point they look unbeatable, and then at other points they just get in their way. They shoot themselves in the foot. So it doesn't surprise me at all that the Yankees lost this World Series. Not at all. We have guys that aren't playing in the right positions. Like Judge isn't really a center fielder. I know he could play center field, but he's one of the best right
should be
fielders
playing center next year, I think, and move him. Whether or not Soto comes back, I think you move Judge back to right, and you put Dominguez in center. That's just my thoughts.
No, I'm with you on that too. But this team is definitely going to look a lot different next year. A lot different. There's a lot of guys that are going to be free agents. Glaber, he's going to be gone, so we're not going to be dealing with his stupid ass errors.
They didn't even
plays.
offer him a qualifying offer. They just were like, no,
nope.
I think we're good.
They said, get out of here, bro. We do not want you. Please just get out of here.
But again, base running, wasn't his skill. Defense at times was lackadaisical. He didn't run hard a lot of the time. He got criticized for a lot of those little things. And yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Don't do the little things.
No, but we need to, and I think that's what this offseason is going to have to focus on is getting better at the little things while still improving this team, because now you've not only had that guy Joe Kelly come out and badmouth the Yankees, but you've also had who is it, Rojas or somebody else come out and also say
the whole Dodger pitching staff laughed at it. Not pitching staff, the scouting.
Yeah, because again,
it was a joke.
They just said, listen, put the ball in play. They're going to make mistakes in the field. They're going to make mistakes base running. Just play sound baseball and you'll beat them. And that was what they did, unfortunately, to us. So I just wonder, and where I'm going to pivot to now is Soto only turning 26, or I think he just turned 26. What do you do? Who is going to land Soto? Because right now he's a clear free agent. I know we offered him a qualifying offer. By no means is he ever going to even think about that offer. So, what do you think he goes for? What do you think? Because really, what they're looking at, and this is because everyone looks at Ohtani's deal, 10 years, $700 million. But really what that deal is and the way it breaks down in baseball numbers is it's actually an annual value of $46 million a year that he's getting. So pretty much anything over $46 million is pretty much what we're looking at for Soto, anywhere between like 47 and 50 a year. Multiply that over probably anywhere between teams are going to offer him 12 to 15 years.
Oh my God!
I'm looking at a number. I think the number, if I'm going to do the math again real quick, but the number I was thinking that would actually land him would be $720 a year for 15 years. That's $48 a year. Give him 2 opt-outs. Give him an opt-out after 5. Give him an opt-out after 10. And I think that's the way you land this. He's going to get more money than Ohtani because he's going to get $720, not $700. He's going to get more annual value than. So he'll be the highest paid annual value average player in baseball, and at least with those opt outs, maybe he opts out in 5 years, maybe he opts out in 10 years. Who knows? And then you figure it out from there. But I think that's the number or close to you're going to see land him. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm out of my mind for that number? Or do you think, because I've really put some thought in this, and this is without him deferring any money or anything else. I know we're talking about stupid figures here, but he's 26 years old. He's in the prime of his career. He's won multiple Slugger awards.
He's the main reason the Yankees didn't get swept.
Yeah, he won 41 homers this year, was one of the best players on the team. You can't deny his talent. He's been playing in the majors for 7 years already. The only thing that worries me, especially if you think about 12-year deals and 15-year deals, is there's another guy who I just remember when I was younger. He came into the league real young. I could be wrong, Joey. Correct me, please, if I'm wrong about this. Came into the league real young, was really good up until about this age or so, and then actually started falling off in his late 20s, and then by the time he was in his 30s, he was more of a role player, bench player, wasn't an everyday starter, bounced around to a few different teams. Joey, any clue on who you think I'm talking about?
I was thinking Miguel Cabrera, and then you said went to a couple teams and bounced around, so I don't know.
He's an outfielder I'm thinking of. That's where I was comparing him a little bit more to Soto.
Trout?
No.
Oh,
Nah,
I
Trout's
would've been
still with
so
the
proud
Yankees.
No,
of
no,
myself.
going back, this is old school. So we're gonna say I think he started in the '90s, ended like mid 2000s, late 2000,
missed that part.
like around 2010. Like he was a young.
Well,
like,
you're thinking like you think no? Well, Neil started in the '80s.
I'm gonna give
I
it
don't
to
know,
you.
man.
I'm gonna give it to you because it doesn't seem me. Andrew Jones. No, he was great when he was young. When he came up in those
He played on the
Atlanta
Braves,
teams,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was
and then all of a
unbelievable.
sudden
And then all of a sudden,
everything dropped.
Everything dropped,
But he still
and
had
he
his
wasn't the same
defense.
player. Yeah, but he was never the same player he was when he was younger. So that's the only little thing. But to be honest, I don't know if he's the same player because to me, Soto's got that edge about him. He's got that killer instinct we've talked about in sports, where we've talked about it with Kobe and Jordan and other players, or certain guys in football that just have that killer instinct.
Yeah.
He's got that. He will stare you down and be like, I'm going to destroy you now. Like, we watched that happen in the playoffs. Like, we watched that at bat where he was just like, no, no. Here's what I'm going to do about it.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was nuts.
He has that edge about him, so that's why I would think about actually giving him that contract. If I'm the Yankees, that's my top number. I'm not going more than that. I think 48 a year, that's 8 more than you're giving Judge. That's many more than 12 more than you're giving Cole. You're going to have a very expensive lineup. But at the same time, if they bring up Cabrera next year, if they have Dominguez actually play, if they use some of the younger talent they have, it should free up payroll in order to make this move. So this would be kind of like the big move, and I wouldn't expect the Yankees to make many other big moves after this. But that would be the number I'm thinking about. If he goes over that and the Mets want to pay him $50 a year, I say
Louis like, no.
I'm with Louis. Let some other team go and do it. Let some other team go and do it if that's the number. If it's got to hit 50 a year and it's got to be 15 or 12 a year, whatever it is, that's what I would do. I'd say, you know what, then we're out. If he wants to go 48 for 12, I'll do anything less.
Oh,
but
48 for 12. My bad, Timmy.
I said 48 for 15. So because that would be 720. So that would be 720. That would be more than Ohtani, but I mean, they could go 47 a year, still get over that $700 million amount. I just think 48 is actually going to be the number that gets him. But, I mean, what do you guys think? Does he go higher than that, lower than that? Where do you think my value is? Do you think I'm realistic in this crazy, unrealistic world?
Joey, I'll let you go first, bud.
Well, shout out to Timmy, Carl, and now at Danny's Dodger Nation in the house. In the chat right now, so shout out to everybody in the chat.
Shout out to the Dodgers because they could find a way to manipulate it the way they did with Ohtani's contract and find a way to sign him. I wouldn't count
that would make me
every
absolutely
single team
miserable.
that has money is in on Soto. Every single team. So the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers. I mean, there's going to be every ball club is going to check in on him for sure, but there's only going to be a few that actually have the money to get him. And the Dodgers, no matter how much they just spent on Ohtani and Yamamoto last year, will find a way to make the money work. Because you know what they learned? They learned the old Yankee way of, you know what? Sometimes you got to spend it in order to win it.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And if you spend it on the right players, you can do that.
One of the oldest adages, right? It takes money to make money, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you hear that all the time. And look, the amount of money, and I remember talking about this last year when it was Ohtani's thing, right? The amount of money they're going to pay him is insane. But simultaneously, the amount of money that he's going to make for them is easily probably 10 times what they're paying him, which is just even more insane. So, like, these owners are investing money into these players so that they can make more money than they spent. There's no other way. And also keep in mind, this is technically a payroll expense, which businesses are able to write off. And if they got a good freaking CPA, I bet you they can write off a pretty chunk of it, right? Like, you don't write the whole thing off, but you can write some of it off. Like, there's a lot. It makes sense to spend the money. I mean, I'm only laughing over here because to me, the idea of somebody playing any game and making almost $750 million to do it over a 15-year stretch is just insanity.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to
Absolutely.
me, like, I've always, like, ever since I started thinking about the idea of being able to have a kid, I've always said to myself, if there's any sport I'm introducing them to, it's baseball.
salary cap.
Guaranteed contracts. One of the lower risk injury sports when it comes down to extremely severe injuries. I know some really bad crap has happened to guys that play baseball, but in general, like you get to still travel the country. You get to play in the World Games. Like, so you get to see the world. Like, there's nothing outside of, maybe you got a bum shoulder after you retire. There's really not much to be upset about. So I mean, whatever the dollar amount is, I don't know whether to call it crazy or not crazy, but 26-year-old guy that just played like that in the playoffs, I don't think is a bad way to go. And so whatever that dollar amount is, I say you go for it. I got to give it to Tim. He's like, I'll say, I'd be like, here, I have $7. And he says, am I the only one that doesn't want the Mets to get here? Tie way too much up. I feel that.
Oh, no,
I would still want them, man.
No, Timmy's wrong, and here's why Timmy's wrong. One, they had a ton of money come off the books. They just dropped Verlander's contract. They dropped DeGrom's contract. They got rid of money on their books, actually, a whole lot of money. They had plenty of money. Plus, Steve Cohen is the richest owner in baseball.
Yeah.
By far. Like, it's not really even that close. And he's been promising that he's going to bring a world championship to this team. And he's promising his money is going to help in that way. You can't say that. And then when the guy comes up, this is the guy they've been talking about. Like, they've been waiting for this move. If they don't find a way to overpay and make the move, like, they have to. Like, that's why you have the richest owner in baseball. That's why you got away from the Wilpons and championed a guy like Cohen to come in. Because he was a fan who was willing to spend money. Use the man's money. He's willing.
Got some dollars
he
to
is
spare.
not the cheapo Wilpons that the Met fan is used to. If the man, $700 million to this man, he's worth 13 or 14 billion, and he's still making more money.
Yeah, right.
His money,
he didn't
his
stop.
money
Like,
makes
that's
enough.
a sweet spot.
His money makes enough money to pay for that contract. His money sitting in the bank making interest will make enough money to pay for that contract. You know what I mean? Like, use the man's money and bring a world championship to the Mets. If you're really a Met fan, that's where you're. I would be pissed if he didn't. If they come out later and their new GM, I forget, Stearns, I think is his name. You got him from Milwaukee. He's known as a guy who could put together a really good ball club, but did it in a small market where they didn't have a lot of money.
Bro.
If you come out now and say, it's not about the money, we need the right players here, we didn't want to sign him, the price tag got too high for us. If I was a Met fan, I would riot Citi Field.
Tear it down.
To hear that. Like, that's where I would be at. Because, I mean, like, if you have the money, the Yankees have the money, the Dodgers have the money, the Mets have the money, these teams are going to be in, and they're going to be in big. I have a feeling the Yankees may drop out first because the Dodgers and... I mean, the Yankees are still family-owned. Like, they're Steinbrenner owned. Like, they're not owned by, like...
Yeah, they got generational wealth, though.
But
they're okay.
Oh, they're going to be plenty okay even if they sign this contract. But I just think if it got into a bidding war, there is a price tag where I think the Yankees wouldn't go above it. I think then it would be a Dodger-Met face-off for who gets him. If they want to go to 50, 55, 60 a year, that's insanity. And if they want to do that, I mean, by all means, who are we to tell them not to? But at the same time,
it ain't your money, right?
It ain't my money. So I do want the Yankees, though. As a Yankee fan, I want the Yankees to re-sign him, find a way, get creative, do what you got to do and make that signing because the kid's only 26 years old and he is absolutely phenomenal and he's got that killer instinct. So... I mean, we can kind of leave it there, move on to something else, but I mean, he is going to be the talk of the offseason. I don't know if we're going to see him sign anytime soon during the winter meetings or if he's going to end up signing in February, because I don't think he's going to end up signing between the holidays. So I think pretty much you're going to have, good chunk of time between like November and January where you're not going to hear much of this. Before the talks pick back up again. Because I think teams are going to come in with initial offers. He's going to mow them around. He's going to kick them around. But I don't think he's going to make a decision unless somebody blows him away.
I'll say this. Well, and honestly, I don't think there's any other way to say this. He is going to be the guy, like you said, it's the talk of the offseason. And he's going to be the guy that any team that believes they can afford him is going to pursue aggressively. So
be silly not
it's
to.
it could turn into a bidding war, and teams will drop out as that price gets higher. So that's all I'll say about that. Joe, you got anything else you want to add into that, my man?
Not really, man. I just think the Yankees aren't going to get Soto. They're already paying Cole, Judge, Rodon's getting $20-something million a year, Stanton. So I just think he's going to be a little overpriced. And if Cole wanted to go be a free agent, I would have said, see you, bro. Then I would have been all in on Soto. Give him whatever he wants. I would have signed him. Because then we were just reinvesting that money from Cole into Soto, but that didn't happen. So I think the Yanks should do other things than sign Soto.
What do you think those are, real quick? I mean, I don't know.
Real quick, off the top of my head,
Yeah.
I would get Lance Bregman at third, get an actual third baseman because we don't have one. Maybe
screw the Astros.
You wouldn't want Lance Bregman?
I think it's Alex, but yeah, no, I don't know.
No. It is Alex. You're right. I'm thinking Lance Berkman.
Yeah. Both Houston Astros, I believe, right?
Yeah. They definitely are. That's all. I'm getting all messed up.
All good.
But Bregman, I would want Bregman 100% just to give us a third baseman. Then you move Chisholm to second. And first base, we'll figure that out.
But see, I think if you left Chisholm at third, and you brought up Cabrera or put Cabrera at third and play Chisholm at second, I mean, I just think that you don't think that would be a better option and then use that money elsewhere? Because I think
they barely use them in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it was the same with Dominguez, though. They didn't use him either.
Just sign Goldschmidt for a couple of years, bro. Or we can go with Alonso. You got Christian Walker that's available. I'd rather go with one of those guys.
All right. Interesting. See, I'm more interested in seeing if we gave these guys full time, what would they do? But speaking of a guy, and I think we're gonna move on from here now.
That hasn't worked an hour so far during his season.
No?
You were just talking about full time. Well, this guy's getting paid and not working at all right now.
Well, yeah, not at least for the next couple days. So if you don't know what we're talking about.
Wait, you know what this scenario makes me think of?
What?
The Friday line from Friday. How you get fired on your day off, Craig? Oh, man. Sorry, I just had a moment. My bad. That's where this took me. Literally, the dude has not played a second this season. For those of you that don't know who we're talking about, Mr. Joel Embiid has missed the first 2 weeks of the season, I believe we're in now, with injury, and was set to come back. And Joey, have you heard this one yet?
I unfortunately have, and the reporter's lucky nothing worse happened.
No, so enlighten me, because I'm thinking of it as, I mean, I don't know anything about Embiid's brother. I didn't hear the comments, so can either of you enlighten me on what the comments were?
I don't know, but they were, let's see. So it was columnist.
I just know he brought up his dead brother, and I believe that Embiid named his son after his dead brother, and I don't think him and his son are close. And so the reporter brought that up, and Embiid shoved him. That reporter's lucky he didn't get punched in the face.
Now, see, yes. You're right there, Joey, because if I'm Embiid, I'm punching him in the face.
Oh, yeah.
If you disrespect me, you disrespect my family. Like, there's a consequence to that. And listen,
yeah, just because you're in the media,
it's like to me, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it when we get to football, but, the Jason Kelsey stuff that happened this past week. Same type of thing. He was making fun of his brother, saying something, some kid thought he was being funny, catching something viral. And Jason Kelsey said, "I smashed your phone now." Like, I'm done with you. I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's that kind of consequence where I will say is, like, so the comments were made in an article, or were the comments made to his face?
In a column.
in a column.
So
this guy talks shit in a column.
Philadelphia Inquirer columnist Marcus Hayes. We're pulling this off of ESPN. We don't want no copyright issues or anything. This is from Tim Bontemps. Anyway, so Philadelphia Inquirer columnist Marcus Hayes was talking to Embiid. And while during the interview, it was like, one of those group interviews, right? After Saturday night's game, Embiid was reacting to the column that Hayes wrote, where he mentioned Embiid's son and late brother, both named Arthur, while questioning Embiid's professionalism and effort to stay in shape. So the guy poked the bear.
But why?
Right.
But what did his deceased brother and son have to do with Embiid's professionalism and effort to stay in shape? Like, that's where, to me, those two things don't correlate.
Because he wrote the column a couple days earlier, and that was the first time Embiid saw him. So Embiid just basically was holding on to that anger, couldn't believe it, and then the guy calls him out for questioning his professionalism and effort. So he snapped. But you guys are both right. I mean, literally Embiid's quoted, the next time you bring up my dead brother and my son again, you're going to see what I'm going to do to you, and I'm going to have to live with the consequences. Like, Embiid was ready.
But that's the thing is, if you're prepared, if you, the saying goes, F around and find out. You know what I mean? Like, if he's pretty much telling you, like, I'm willing to live with it, like, I will, like, F around and find out, like, because I'm going to live with those consequences. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, in one way, I totally respect him for standing up for his family. In another way, I still think he's a dirty player who's out of shape and doesn't play very much, especially in the regular season.
Yeah.
So, at the same time, like, the process is the process. And he still, like you said, hasn't seen the court yet.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like he's seeing the court anytime soon. Not at least in the next 3 games, because he's suspended for those. Or is he suspended once he comes back? How does that work with this?
The reason why he was allowed to be interviewed was because he was supposed to come back for their next game.
Yeah, no. 3 more days.
Yes.
Another week off.
Yeah, so now he gets 3 games suspension, and his first game back is actually a week from yesterday
against the Knicks
in Philly. So the Knicks did end his playoff run, so that's something that I'm sure might give a little extra motivation outside of being injured and that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Embiid has a big game against the Knicks.
Me this, Batman.
Karl Anthony Towns is a great matchup for him.
Riddle me this, Batman. If you know Embiid's got a little bit of an edge to him, and you know this guy wrote this article, why wouldn't you keep Embiid away from him? Why wouldn't you just like not have him go to that promise? Now I get it if he's
take
playing.
His credentials away.
No, not take the guys, but not have Embiid out there talking to him. He's injured. He doesn't have to be. There's no reason. If he's involved in the game and something happens in the game, then I get it. You stand up at the podium after the game and you talk about what happened. In play. And if the team knew this article was out there, rather than having the confrontation, why didn't somebody in the front office have the foresight to be like, you know what? We're not going to have you go to this press conference today, Joel. We're going to have you go do something else. You want to go play some video games? You want to do anything literally other than go to this right now? And he probably would have said yeah. And it probably would have avoided this entire situation. I mean, at some point, maybe he runs into him. Who knows? But it would have avoided this situation. He's also going to lose over $1 million in pay due to this suspension. But again, he makes so many millions that this is probably a drop in the bucket to his millions that he makes. So, not to get in his pocket or anything, but I'm just saying. And how much does, I think you said this before, but I'm going to steal it from you and ask you and Joey. How much does Paul George regret coming to the Philadelphia 76ers? And I'll let Dave go first.
I would say Paul George, since he's left the Pacers, has just had a really rough run with teammates that by the end of the year, I don't think he wants to be teammates with anymore. That's just the only way I can look at it for the poor guy.
It's true.
Yeah, I think next year he's already asking for another trade.
Yeah. Where else do you go? He's going around the league. I mean, I don't know where he goes.
I have no idea where.
And he's only going to be a year older too.
Come to Chicago on a veteran minimum. They need all the help they can get. They can't play defense for shit. Sorry, that was just a random little sidebar by me. Chicago looks pretty good offensively, but they can't play defense for shit, and it's really driving me nuts right now. So,
I think Chicago would be in. I'm hearing a lot of rumors. I don't know if you guys have heard it too, but especially with the awful start they've had to the season. Have you guys been in on any of the rumors about Antetokounmpo? Because apparently he's not loving life there in Milwaukee right now. Doc Rivers actually has a losing record since taking over as head coach.
So bad,
like very bad. It is, I believe, it's one of the oldest teams, if not the oldest team in the league, and he's averaging like 22 and 11, right now, or like 24 and 11, something stupid. Like he's playing really well, but yet they still suck. 1-6 to start the year.
I mean, it started 1-0 too. Dude, that's the worst part.
That is unbelievable. They should never have traded for Dame Lillard. Number one, because it messed up their whole team. Their whole team was playing great defense, and Giannis, here's the ball, bro. Go do what you got to do.
Yeah, no, the teams are actually like going against Milwaukee and purposely trying to get their guy one-on-one with Lillard. Like, nobody is scared of Damian Lillard.
Lillard didn't fit what they did.
Not anymore. Yeah.
He ain't scared of it. Nobody's scared of it.
So they're going to have to blow it up, man. They're going to have to blow this up.
Some people are nervous because they would have loved to have seen him in a Knick uniform, but with the assets...
They gave up all the picks for Miguel Bridges. I love it.
But they did and they didn't. Believe it or not, even after the Miguel Bridges trade, they still have 7 first-round picks that are tradable. They still have plenty of value. I don't know if they have it under the cap. I don't know how that works with a trade, too. But I believe that the Knicks could have enough. I don't think they would have enough pieces to send back as far as players go, especially because they just sent DiVincenzo and Randall to Minnesota.
Yeah, and you got to match the money up too, right?
I don't know if you have to match the money up. To be honest, if they do, they'd probably have to get a third team involved.
In NBA trades, you gotta match the money up. Not identical, but it has to stay
close.
With,
yeah,
basically each team has to stay under the luxury tax window thing that they do in the NBA. So that's really what it is. They got to stay under that because a trade, you can have your own guys and accept that you're going to be over that, but you can't trade and I don't think you can trade and put yourself over that. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. We're amateurs. A salary cap genius. Exactly. I can barely do my taxes every year. Give me a break here, people. And that's just adding and subtracting.
But I mean, he's probably going to be the trade piece, if not at the trade deadline. By the trade deadline, then definitely in the off season. So yeah, I was just interested in you guys' thoughts on Antetokounmpo and where he may end up. Where do you guys think would be the best fit for him? I know we're talking kind of crazy and real early and probably not going to happen for months, but where's the way too early guess on where he would be the best fit? I'll say that. Where would he fit in and actually improve the team? Because I'll be honest, I don't think if you put him on the Celtics, they'd still be a great team. You know what I mean? It doesn't move the needle to me for the Celtics to go out and make that move. But who would it benefit the most?
I'm going to go with a random team here. I'm going with the Spurs. Put him, Wemby, and CP3. I think that'd be a nice little combo.
That would be a very big team. Well, minus CP3, but still, just the two of them. That's a big team.
See, I actually think there's another spot that he could go that could really make a difference. But it all hinders on their point guard and whether or not he can keep a straight head on his shoulders and guns out of his hands. I'm going to say, what if he showed up in Memphis and played with Ja Morant? Because now you got Ja Morant who could drive, kick, do everything you need him to do, but yet he would give you that inside presence. I think that could really elevate the Grizzlies. Now, if they have the capital, if they have the room in the cap, I have no idea. But as far as a team that could get it substantially better, I think, from that move, I think it would be them, because you would put two of the game's biggest stars together, and in a way you like, point guard and a big man. You know what I mean? They could work off each other. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. What do you think, Dave?
Honestly, I think Atlanta would be the team. Pair him up with Trae Young. That pick and roll that'd be rough, man. Rough. DeAndre Hunter, but I mean, He's 6'8", 221. You got Bogdanovich. I mean,
They got Clint Capella already too, though. So
yeah, but you got 30-year-old.
I don't think Milwaukee would trade him to Atlanta anyway, but that would be serious.
Like, I mean, that Larry Nance Jr. is another one. I mean, they've got some shooters, man. But Trae Young and him running the pick and roll would be that'd be a scary thing to have to try and figure out how to defend. That's for damn sure. That would be scary. Now, as a Bulls fan, get it. If you're gonna trade him, get him the hell out of the Eastern Conference. Send him to the West. Go west.
Why wouldn't you want him? Why wouldn't the Bulls want
The
him?
Bulls ain't, because Milwaukee and Chicago are rivals. They ain't trading with each
Exactly.
other. And
Come on,
Chicago,
how big of rivals are they really? Milwaukee could be a rival to Indiana.
They're in
What
the
are you just
same
saying? All those
division.
yeah, I get it, but you could still make some moves.
You ain't trading them to the same division. You probably not even trade them to the East. You probably trade them to the West.
I think you're trading them for the biggest package.
yeah,
Whoever
that's
gives you the most. To be honest,
But
in your division, not in your division, who's giving you the most?
You're not trading them to Indiana. I don't think you're trading them to Chicago. I don't think you're trading them to Cleveland. Like, I don't think you're going to trade them to the teams that already are pretty damn good unless they're giving you one hell of a package. Like, you're talking multiple years of first-round draft picks. You're talking the best players. You've got at least 2 starters and probably at least the best player on your bench, if not 2 of the best players on your bench. And that's the problem for somebody like from Giannis' standpoint, right? Yeah, maybe I don't want to be here right now, but if you trade me to another team, they're going to have to give you their best players, or at least close to their best players,
or a lot of picks, or it could be a lot of picks.
So it just
And then maybe OKC could do something with that then. They have a ton of talent, ton of picks.
Yeah, okay.
Does it fit though? They have a couple of big men. Isn't Chet Holmgren and who's the
I
other
know
one they
they
got?
have
I forget, but I'm pretty sure they got a pretty
Jalen
big
Duran.
No, the one he almost I think won. I don't think it was Rookie of the Year, but maybe he was MVP candidate. Who am I thinking of?
No, that was SGA.
Yeah,
they
that's who I'm talking about.
They have Hartenstein. They have Hartenstein.
That's who I was thinking of.
But yeah,
SGA.
they got Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren. Yeah, but Holmgren's scrawny as hell, man.
7-1 though. He's playing center.
He can't bang like Giannis can bang. That would be an interesting add-on.
I'm just trying to think of like a young, good team with picks, with players that wouldn't really hurt them. I think that would be the way to go.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I see where you're coming from.
I think it's going to be interesting. That's the thing we can all take from this is it's definitely going to be interesting to follow where he goes because I think we can all agree that even at this point in the season, Milwaukee's probably not going to be a very good team this year. And
It's crazy to say, man.
yeah, because again, especially after that trade for
couple years
Lillard,
ago,
we
they
thought
were
they'd
top of the
be
East.
excelling, and unfortunately, they're not. But there is one
You
guy.
trade for Dame Lillard and you get worse. Terrible.
That's so bad, bro.
Yeah,
That's
it
so
is.
bad. That is just so bad. But that's it. That's an interesting thing. I did not realize Milwaukee was off to a 1-6 start. I had zero
zero
clue
started
that
poorly.
that was taking place. So that's an interesting little sidebar there. You got us on that one, Eric. That's a nice side. You know what? To you, sir.
Thank you.
And they're like
Thank
the Cowboys. They can't win at home.
Ouch. Just ouch.
Speaking of a team though that's looking to win at
Sorry,
home,
Dave.
before we get to football, there's one more thing
Jets
I
win on
wanted
a
to
Thursday night.
touch on here. And that's a little hockey news. And I know normally we wait for Pfeiffer to join us to do some hockey news. So he'll have to watch the replay later and let us know how we did. But I had to bring it up tonight because to me it's an interesting story. You have the biggest hockey star in the world in Connor McDavid, who is set to return tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. But he was initially expected to miss at least 2 to 3 weeks, if not more, with an ankle sprain. And he's coming back way earlier. He only sprained it on October 28th. We're talking about a week ago, a little over a week ago. He was supposed to miss at least 2 more weeks. And he's coming back early. And I know he's the best player in the world, and I know these guys are freak athletes who their bodies can do things our bodies can't.
Hockey players are just different.
They are. They're built different,
They're built different.
But with an ankle injury and with as important as your ankles are in hockey, you got a lot of cutting, a lot of moving, a lot of, it all generates from there. Is it smart for him to come back this early? Because could it end up being a nagging injury that he never really, recovers from? Could it be, for the rest of the season, I should say, is this going to nag him for the rest of the year? Is there a chance that in a week from now, he's going to be sore and have to miss 2 or 3 games? And then all of a sudden, it's going to be an ongoing thing where he'll be okay for 2-3 weeks, and then all of a sudden it flares up again. I just worry with the best player in the sport. Is it smart for the team to let him dictate when he's ready to return? Or should they take a more cautious approach with arguably the game's best player?
I mean, with how early in the season it is, I personally would have taken a more cautious approach just because you're 10 games into the year, not maybe 12 games, 13 games into the year, right? You're not... You still have basically 80% of your season to go. You're 90% of your season to go. You're okay. You could take another week off and miss 3 or 4 games. It's not the end of the world. I believe they've started
500. I think they're 6-1 on the year. If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, so they've had an okay start without him, which obviously you expect to be better with him. But if they're holding down the fort, I'm with you. What's the harm in being dude, we'd rather you be 100% than come back at 90%.
That's how I would think. Joey, I don't know about you, my man. Would you have chilled too, or would you have said, hey, if you feel good to go, you're good to go?
He is the best freaking hockey player on the planet. If he's telling me I'm good to go, I'm putting him in.
Okay, fair enough.
He's been in the league long enough. He's been the league's best player for years now. I'm going to trust my best player. I like you said, it is only 13 games in, but right now they are on the outside looking in if the playoffs were to start. So I do think that has something to do with it too. Maybe if they were on top of the division, he would do a couple games, but
they're
a couple more games.
Point out of a playoff spot, so they're not like they're
hey man, last year they started 0-11 and had to come all the way back from that. I don't think he wants to do that again. So if he's feeling fine, let's go, bro.
And they are -10 in the goal differential right now, so his offense would definitely help improve that as well. So I just thought it was interesting. He's coming back early. I hope he's coming back at 100%. I want to see the best out there. We talked about it. I'm not necessarily an Edmonton Oilers fan. You guys aren't Edmonton Oilers fans, but let's just be, honest here. It's more exciting when the best players in the world are playing and not injured.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to see people injured. So that's really all I had there. Still way too early in the season to get into playoffs or any of that nonsense. But good starts for the Devils and the Rangers, both I think second and third in their division right now, both near the top of the conference as well. So they're both playing really well to start. And
I'll be at the Devils game tomorrow. So
shout
go Devils.
Out.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Nice.
And with that, let's jump into our next topic here, and that is.
I don't know how you keep track of all that. Do you have a little cheat pad, or does it?
No, it says it there, but
you
it's
don't have
very
anything
small.
written down.
No, it's very small too. So I have to kind of remember. So it's like muscle memory that I got to remember what to do and which. But that being said, we got to start with Thursday night's game because we all sat here and thought it would be a clean sweep with the Texans last week, and the Jets actually pull out a win. But I got to be honest. I think people are getting way too hyped after one win on a Thursday night where a team from the West had to come east, short week. They're banged up as is. Just lost. They lost Collins and they lost Diggs, right?
Yep, Collins and Diggs. Yeah.
So down their two best offensive players, arguably, or two best
Mixon
receivers for sure.
Day. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and they still put up a fight. It was only an 8-point game. It was a touchdown game essentially. So I got to get Joey's thoughts because is he as high on the Jets now? Because I feel like people all of a sudden are turning back around and being like, "Oh, the Jets can do it. They can win." 8 of the next 9 and, turn this. And I'm like, or 7 of the next 8 and really, be something, be 10-7. I don't see it, Joey. Talk some sense into me if I'm crazy. I don't know, but I still think this Jets team is a bad team.
Well, there are people going nuts now. Now that the Jets are 3-6, they are convinced that they're a playoff team. I have been very positive about the Jets all year, and that positivity made them 2-6. So I'm reversing course, and I'm just going miserable. I was miserable last week about them, and they won.
Is he going the mic?
So I'm just going to be a miserable Joey D about the Jets, and hopefully they keep winning. I don't see it. I don't see them winning 8 in a row, going 11-6 or 10-7. But hey, that's what the fans want. So there you go.
And you get more clicks with that, right? You get more clicks, and
hey. Garrett Wilson had a better catch than Odell Beckham. How about that?
There you go. Enjoy that one. Well,
Garrett Wilson's catch actually looked exactly like the Jordan logo.
It did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, for that, when they did the slow-mo, no doubt. Look, what I will say about this game and the Jets as a whole, this game showed you exactly who the Jets are. Or, well, who they can be on both sides. That first half was some of the ugliest football I've ever watched in my entire life by that Jets team. That offense was atrocious. And if that defense showed up like they did, a couple weeks ago when they get ran over and, giving up, all of that, they would have been blown out by halftime. But the defense showed up. The offense was still in the locker room trying to get their pregame hype speech up and writing that down and figuring that all out. Because what you saw in the second half is the good Jets, right? First half, bad Jets. Second half, good Jets. And the most important thing for the Jets that will determine whether they can or cannot make a run at trying to get to the playoffs is, can the good Jets show up for 4 quarters? Or if the bad Jets show up, can it only be 1 quarter and they are able to manage and survive that 1 quarter? That's really what this game said to me. This showed you bad Jets, good Jets. I have no reason to believe that good Jets, after what we've seen through 9 games total, I mean, out of the 9 games, right, 6.5 of them were really bad. So you gotta lean, you gotta side with caution on this one in my eyes. But I think this game really summed up who the Jets have the ability to be, both good and bad. I feel like I should drop a mic. I'm pretty proud of that little breakdown right there.
Yeah.
Listen,
I can't say it any better.
I could drop. There is no physical mic to drop because it's on a pole and attached to something. So, very disappointing moment right there. So, I'm metaphorically dropping a mic because I'm pretty proud of that statement. So, you know what I'm not proud of, though?
Your Cowboys?
My freaking Cowboys. Oh, my God.
I think you want to tell Jerry Jones.
Stop it. Get some help.
Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, and not to mention the fourth round pick traded for the number 4 wide receiver on the worst roster, worst football team in the entire NFL. We traded a 4th round pick for the guy that is number 4 on their wide receiver depth chart. I don't even know his name off the top of my head. Don't even
Jonathan
know his name.
Mingo.
There you go, Mingo. Good for them. They had a 3rd round draft value on him in last year's draft. Like, he's number 4 on the worst roster in the entire freaking league. Adam Thielen, at 39 trillion years old, is their number 1 wide receiver. This guy couldn't even get to number 2 or 3. But now you have Dak. Saw today before I came here, after MRIs, it looks like he has a partial tear where his hamstring separated from his actual bone. But he's getting second opinions because sometimes with that injury, they let it scar over and he could come back in a couple weeks and then they do an off-season surgery. He's ready for the off-season programs.
Okay.
Or the smarter move, some would say, is you go in and you fix it now and let the body heal and scar around the fix instead of letting it scar and then ripping the scar open and I'm no doctor. I don't know what's better, but he's looking for second opinions. The Cowboys are holding on to hope because they, for some reason, think with, Philly and the Texans being their next 2 games that they're not going to be, 3-7 in a matter of 2 weeks. So just keep him out. Just keep him out. There's no point. Let the young guys, let Cooper Rush play, put together a package for Trey Lance, get him out there, let him build some value. So hopefully he gets signed by a big, nice enough contract that you can get a compensatory pick for him. I don't know. But they suck. There's no other way to put it. They just suck. Healthy Dak, non-healthy Dak. When the defense shows up, the offense goes 3 and out. When the defense gives up a touchdown, the offense goes 3 and out. The offense can't do shit. Fire McCarthy. Fire the coaching staff. I'm so done with this season.
But after the awesome wide receiver they just traded for.
TJ, who's your mama?
After that guy,
yeah.
It's going to turn this whole offense right around for you guys.
It really is the game changer. I swear to God, if they beat Philly this week with Cooper Rush and score 38 points, I am going to have to stay off the internet because the amount of people that are going to say, "Oh, see, Cooper Rush is better than Dak Prescott. They shouldn't have paid Dak Prescott." I will have to stay off.
You could happily trade Dak Prescott to the Giants. I'd take him over Daniel effing Jones.
Dude, didn't you guys go 5-1 with Cooper Rush several years ago?
4-1, yes. And
4-1, and that was with a healthy Zeke too, though.
Yeah, that was Brady's last year. So however many that was 3 years ago now.
Yeah, I think so.
The year Dallas knocked him out of the playoffs. I don't even know if they made the playoffs. Yeah, that was his last game. Was losing the Cowboys.
2021, I think.
Or then he came out. I don't freaking know. I don't even remember. But yeah. That Dallas is just they need depth in positions they don't have depth in. The injuries, CeeDee Lamb with his shoulder, he might actually he's still uncertain to play this week. Micah Parsons, they're hoping can play this week. DeRon Bland's probably out this week, at least one more week. DeMarcus Lawrence and Brandon Cooks are both out for at least another week or two. They just beat the shit, man, and they don't have the depth behind their big names to keep them alive and in the race. And with Washington and Philly, they're just pulling away. So, and by the way, I'm sorry, but Philly, it got to be one of the luckiest freaking teams in the NFL. You look at their games and how they've won, and look, good teams figure out how to win games. So I got to give them that, and they have a talented team. But I just don't see how they are 7 or 6-2. Oh God, it bothers the hell out of me because I just don't think they're that good.
I agree with you.
I think it's give Saquon the ball and hope. They have a great offensive line, so Saquon is able to perform and be utilized how he was meant to be utilized since the day he came in the NFL. And they have 2 really freaking good wide receivers, where as long as you put it in their vicinity, they pretty much can make a play out of it. We saw Smith's touchdown on Sunday. That was nuts. That was an amazing catch. AJ Brown, you hit him with a slant, he breaks a couple tackles, and he's like a Derrick Henry type wide receiver. He doesn't look like he should be as fast as he is. So, but Philly, a nice win against not really a nice win against Jacksonville. They just beat Jacksonville. Dallas sucks. Giants suck. I mean, I think that game for the Giants was as much on Dable as it was on Joe. I mean, 6 passes in the first half.
Donald Tracy's running the ball well, though, so I'm not going to discount what they're doing on the ground. I just think there's a mix of things. I think Dable's slowly losing the locker room, and this team has no faith in Jones. So I know it was another close game with Washington, but I don't care. They're still a better team than us at this point. 7-2. They are top of the East, or are they tied with Philly? I don't know. Where's Philly?
They're top of the East.
No, they're top. They're top.
Philly's 6-2 though, so they're only a half game back, and that's because of the bye week. So Washington just hasn't hit the bye week yet. So, but the Eagles are where I thought they'd be. I thought they would be a good team. I think they're a team that put in some new pieces. They lost Jason Kelce. They added Barkley, which, by the way, holy shit!
Oh my God, yeah.
If I'm Wellington Mara, or if I'm John Mara, or the Tisches sitting there watching that football game, and I'm watching and I watch that play with Barkley, I am literally finding Shane and Dable and smashing their heads together like coconuts. I'm being like, what did
Why,
you guys...
bro?
Because he's killing it in Philly. And we signed
Yeah,
Daniel
he
Jones
is.
instead of retaining Saquon
And
Barkley.
he would
and
not
that,
be killing it with the Giants, bro. Be happy.
the
Tyrone
Giants
Tracy's
would be a
killing
better
it for
team
you
with
guys,
Saquon
bro.
and no Daniel Jones. We would be a better team with anybody else at QB and Saquon Barkley on the team. And I will die on that hill.
Well, the one thing I just didn't understand was Giants scored, they went down 27-22 with like 2.5 minutes left in the game. I didn't understand why he didn't kick the onside kick there. You guys didn't stop
I
Washington
don't
all
understand
day.
why he keeps going for 2 all the time. We wouldn't have had
Yeah,
to
and
go
I
for
don't
2 if he didn't go for
understand
2
that
early.
either.
Like,
He's really,
I don't know why we're obsessed with going for 2 when this offense clearly sucks.
you Dable obviously doesn't trust the kicker. He doesn't trust your kicking game. That's the only reason I can think of.
Yeah. It's the only reason that makes any sense. That's for damn sure. So,
But yeah, that's pretty much the roundup from last week. Everything else went pretty much according to schedule.
I mean, nobody was really surprised by the outcomes of any other games.
I mean, the Panthers picked up their second win, but again, it was against such a shitty Saints team.
I can't believe Dallas lost 44 to. Oh my god, this season. God, I hope I at least win one fantasy league. So
Broncos took it on the chin like we thought from the Ravens. You know, it was a pretty straightforward week. Bears put in their place with the Cardinals, who are it's not even a great Cardinals team, but I mean, they can't move. They're not that good. And to be honest, Caleb Williams is not good.
I think there's two other things from this past week that need to be touched on. After this week's game, the Detroit Lions have more touchdowns than incompletions over like the last 4 weeks, 6 weeks. I don't. It's something freaking crazy. Like, it's just insane. They have more touchdowns as a team. So that's defensive, special teams, offense, more touchdowns as a team than incompletions. Like, that's crazy. Like, literally going back to 1933, this has never been done because that's when completions started being tracked. Like, that's insanity. Like, just crazy. So you gotta give props to Goff. Him and Lamar right now got to be your front runners for MVP. And then Tampa Bay should have went for 2, right?
Yes and no, but I mean, I
Why
think they got
not?
screwed at the end too. Clearly, a false start at the end of that game didn't get called, and Chiefs end up, scoring. To me, the refs. The more I watch the Chiefs, the more I agree with the fans out there that say, I think that the Chiefs and the refs have a little love affection going on right now. Like, there's something going on. Like, I don't know, like, if they come from...
That's why you go for 2. Don't give the Chiefs any opportunity to try and win that game, man. Go for 2.
Yeah.
You go for 2. Just like Joey said, you're on the road. You're missing your top 2 wide receivers. Your defense is
steal
banged
that
up.
game, man.
You're playing on a Monday night game in the rain. You have all the momentum is swung to your side.
Yeah, but if you don't get it, you lose the game. So it's like, to me...
And if you don't win the toss, you probably lose the game too.
Correct.
I take my chances there. I do.
I look.
I don't.
I'm
taking my chances with the 2.
And you're in a division race against a team that's getting better as the weeks go by in Atlanta. You've already lost to them twice, and they won it on Sunday. You need to do everything you can. Like, if I'm going to lose, right? Like, think back to, a couple of years ago when the Giants did make the playoffs, right? Dable, you mentioned, I don't know why he's in love with going for 2. Well, remember, that week 1 game against Tennessee where he goes for 2, and they win that game, is what propelled them through the entire year. That's a game. If you go for 2 and you win that game, without some of your best players, think about what that does for your team. And if you lose, you get to look at your team and say, guys, we gave it everything we had. Shorthanded, on the road, in the rain, Monday Night Football, and we lost by 1 point.
I get it, but to me, there's no difference in losing by 1 or losing by 6.
Give me the 2.
So, again, I can't argue too hard with you guys because you make valid points. So I would just say I probably would have done what the Bucs did, and that's kind of where I'll leave that one. And I guess we can move on to this week's
I mean,
news.
our boy Timmy agrees that you should have went for 2. I'm pretty sure Carl would agree too. Carl, if you want to hop in, but thank you for being here either way, my
Yeah,
friend.
shout out to anybody joining us. We always appreciate the love and support. Like, subscribe, follow, share, do all those fun free things too
They're
while
fun
you're at
and
it.
they're free. Fun
And they help us out.
free.
They help us grow.
We're on
help
Spotify,
us get there.
at Die on This Hill, iTunes. I don't know, wherever you can get a podcast. Like just search at Die on This Hill. It makes life real easy. Well, we start with a banger.
This week,
It's
we
a good
open up.
matchup.
We open up week 10 with a
Yeah,
pretty
we
good
do.
matchup. Well, 4-5 Bengals, but what'd they start? 0-3, 0-4?
0-4.
0-4 to
I
start
think
the
1
season.
and 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they've been bad, but they've been actually really good on the road. 3-1 away on the road. Ravens 3-1 at home. 6-3. They've been on the rise since an 0-2 start. 6-1 since that 0-2 start for the Ravens. Derrick Henry is a manimal. Like he is
That's
just
not even
a
right.
beast. Got a signature.
Not-
over there, by the way.
It's just not right though. A
yeah,
man that
he's,
size, like he remember, like
he's a big dude.
we used to talk about this with Brandon Jacobs, right? How big it wasn't. He was bigger than the linebackers trying to tackle him.
But I've been watching him since college because he's a Bama boy, and he's been running like that
Since high school.
Yeah, he's always been the bigger guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's
But-
always outmatched everybody.
But
and like,
the
yeah.
point I'm trying to make is like Jacobs was big, but he wasn't faster than everybody.
No.
There's basically a handful of linebackers in the NFL that could actually keep up with him in a foot race. It is unbelievable how fast he is. And it's always so funny to me because, he lowers his shoulder, he gets through the hole, he breaks his tackle. But when he takes off, he does that sprinter body where he has his shoulders back and he's just
Chugging.
And it's like, just don't, like, I wouldn't get in his way. I literally would not. I'd be like, business decision happening right now. Thank you, but
Where
no, thank
Saquon will leap over you backwards, he's just going to run through you.
you. Yeah.
Like, there's a difference. Like, there's two different styles of backs, and that's the difference there. Is you have the Barkleys who will make the cuts and, like, juke and, like, more I would say, Sanders-esque. Where you have Derrick Henry, who is just a bull in a china shop. He is just running through you.
Yeah,
Like, he's like
it's
the
not
bus.
right that a human
like
being
he is
like
running
that
through you.
size.
He's a better bus. Like he's the new and improved bus. Like
Joey, when it comes to this game, I got an honest question for you. Are you hoping that they rock the all black unis and Cincy goes with the all white with the orange?
Oh, that'd be cool, man. That'd be
Right?
sick.
Like I do that now when I play Madden because I play the game so damn much. Now I mess with the uniforms just to see what looks coolest on the TV, and that would be the uni combo that I would do for both teams for a Thursday night prime game. What I would not do though is take Baltimore given the 6.
I was just looking at that. How is that line so big?
I think Baltimore wins.
Big
the
favorites
game.
have not done well this year, by the way. I think it's the 6.5 mark. Like teams that are 6.5 point favorites in the game are like under 500 this year, I think, or something silly like that.
We thought this last week, boys, and they kicked Denver's ass.
Oh no! But again, I think we all picked the Ravens last week.
I think it's that division factor to it. I think that's to me why I'm not taking. And since his offense is churning too, Gesicki last week. I mean, they lose Moss and Brown steps in and has a big game. They just made a trade with Chicago to bring in their backup running back. I'm taking the over, but I'm not taking Baltimore given the 6. I'd take Cincy in that case. I don't know about what you guys think on that one.
I'd take Cincy getting the 6, but I'd take Baltimore to win the game. Like I'm with you there. Like I think 6 is too big. I think it's a closer game than that. But I would take the Ravens at home. I won't be surprised if the Bengals win this game, but that's also why I wouldn't take Baltimore given 6 because
You're taking the over?
the over
53
is
and a half.
That's
Joey,
a
I
big
don't know if
over.
you
I'm
have it
taking
up
the
in front
under.
of you.
Division game,
Yeah, I
I'm
got
taking
it
the
up.
under.
All right. Yeah, I'm taking the over. Thursday night game. They know each other. They're going to be able to play.
Yeah, but
What
I
do you
think
think?
because
I'm
they
thinking
know
the
each
over
other.
too, man.
Yeah. You agree? You agree though? Taking Cincy getting the 6, or you going to go Baltimore giving the 6?
I'd probably take Cincy getting the 6 just because they played so well the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, and
But it's Thursday night. I hate Thursday night.
One of the first games where they took off, or it was the second good game they had, but they lost, was against Baltimore.
Was Baltimore.
So I think you're going to see it. As long as the weather's good, I think that over hits with no problem.
You know what blows my mind right now, though? We just talked about how over 6.5 points, teams are like under 500, blah, 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 not doing well this year when they're that big a favorite. How in the hell are the Giants 6.5 point favorites against anybody? I don't care if they're playing Carolina. They're both 2-7. They both suck. How are the Giants that much better than the Carolina Panthers at this point? I'm sorry. I would take the Panthers getting the 6.5 here. I hate to say that, but I would. Like, that's where my pick would go because and the under to me looks great because both offenses suck.
Yeah.
The Giants,
And
when
it's
they
Also
ever
in Germany,
score,
I believe.
I think the Giants are the worst in the league. I think they're only averaging like 15.4 points a game. Like, it's awful. Give me the under and give me the Panthers. And I hate to say that as a Giant fan because I'm hoping the Giants win. I'm rooting for the Giants to win. I just don't think they're going to win by a touchdown.
Go Giants. I want the Giants
I don't
to
think
win.
this is a blowout win for the Giants because when have they blown anybody out this year?
I honestly, the only thing I think of when I look at this game is I just pray this doesn't force Germany to start World War III. Because how pissed would you be if you were an NFL football fan and the game that the U.S. sends to your country so that you can watch it live and in person is these two teams going against each other?
Oh, it's awful.
Like, I apologize to anybody that is out there.
You can get tickets for as low as $128.
You wouldn't be able to pay
Hell
me to go
no.
to that game. I wouldn't go.
I don't
I'd be at a bar
apologize.
watching the game at a bar because the drinks are cheaper there and the food is cheaper there. So that's where you would find me watching that game. I'll spend $128 on beer and food, and I'll be a hell of a lot happier.
You'll spend that in the States. You're not going to take a flight to Europe to see it.
No. What I mean is, if I was in Germany, like I would, without a doubt.
I think that would be the best FU to football that Germany could give them is just don't show up.
Just don't go.
Dude,
Just don't show
they
up.
don't
Just
bring
don't.
any. They don't bring any of their best stuff to the United States when they bring soccer. It's just an exhibition.
So,
We're
but
actually bringing regular
you
season
guys
games. You
agree,
can have our
though?
crappiest regular season games.
Do you guys agree, though, Joey? I'll start with you. 6.5 point favorite. Are you taking the Giants or giving the 6.5, or would you take the Panthers getting the 6.5? Again, I think
Once again, I think I'd take the Panthers getting the 6.5.
Would you take the Giants in the
Yeah,
game
two
straight up?
bad teams here.
Or would you
I'd
take
probably
Carolina?
Take Giants straight up. I'd
Giants
probably
straight
take
up.
Giants straight up.
Yeah, I would take the Giants straight up, but I'm not giving the 6.5. That I would not do, and I would definitely agree with you. I would take the under, no doubt about that. Well, let's do a couple more before we get ourselves wrapped up for the night. I'm thinking Broncos Chiefs maybe a good game to look at. I mean, or after what Baltimore did, do we think the
I think
Broncos,
the
are just a
have-
false?
Yeah,
All right.
they're a false
All right,
hope.
all
there.
right. But division game. They are home. I think I would take. I think I'd probably still take Kansas City.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd take the over 41.5. I think I'd probably take the
under because
division.
I don't think the Broncos are going to score.
49ers Bucks.
That's
Go
a
ahead,
pretty
Joey.
good
My
game.
bad, Joey. I didn't even get.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good.
I'm just like
You're good. I was
the
going to
belly's
take the
starting to
Chiefs
talk
and
to
the
me.
under. I would take the Chiefs and the under. You're good.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So, we got a clean sweep there. All right. How about the 49ers Bucks? McCaffrey expected to make his season debut. The 49ers, we all know, are a completely different team with him on the field. And that's not to say that the guys that have stepped in for him haven't played halfway decent. But it's still, that's a nice, huge addition. Not even nice. Huge addition for the 49ers. Tampa Bay coming off of a short week and a rough loss against Kansas City.
Still without a couple of their best players. So give me the 49ers, get McCaffrey back. It's going to be a boost to them.
You think?
And I don't know if I take
6.5?
I think the 6.5 might be a little much because I think the Bucks can keep it close. But so this is
I'm
one of
with
those
you.
games
What's up
where I
with
would
these
take the
big
49ers.
spreads?
I would take the 49ers straight up, but I would take the Bucks getting the 6.5 probably. And for the over under 50.5, this game a little crazier. I'm going under.
Sign
You're
it
going
up.
over?
I'm going Tampa. If there's one thing Tampa's done all year
Score.
is they have scored points. They move the ball. San Francisco getting McCaffrey back. I mean, not McDaniel. Why am I drawing a blank on their?
We haven't done one of these in a while.
Yeah.
But I want to do a tortilla slap. I'm taking the under. We'll go 50.5. I'll take the under. You take the over. That's it.
All right, fine. Why not? I
think you owe me one. You owe me one. I think Joey owes me one. So I got a couple coming to me.
We all still owe a bunch. You owe me 2, Dave. Eric, I think we each owe each other 1.
Yep.
Oh God, we're gonna have to.
Although I know I don't owe any from the iHeart League because
still
I've just
undefeated. Yeah, I know. We all know. Yeah, I'm taking the over, and
my team's pretty solid.
I will agree with you guys. I don't think I think
This next game, even though it's a 1:00 game, this could be the game of the week. 7-2 Commanders at home against the 6-2 Steelers. The way both teams have been playing, this could be game of the week.
The Steelers just added Mike Williams, and if there's one thing we've seen is Mike Williams can make some big plays, and the biggest issue that Pittsburgh's had is outside of Najee Harris and what's his name on the outside of wide receiver? Why am I
Pickens?
George
Pickens, right? Outside of 2 of them, that they have no offense. Right, now you add a Mike Williams. You get him a one-on-one. Russell Wilson's favorite throw to throw, he calls it his moon ball. He just throws it as high in the air and as far as he can and basically prays his receiver goes and gets it.
Yeah.
Or it times his jump better than the defender. That's Mike Williams' game. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I actually went big after him in fantasy this week to try and get him on my roster because in iHeart, my wide receivers would just beat the shit. Like, I literally have no wide receiver to start. And I'm like, well, hey, if he pans out, I'll go big. So I went big with him. But I agree. I think this could be a great game. It's probably going to be the best defense that Washington's gone against all season so far.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see. Jaden Daniels is arguably having one of the best, if not the best, 9-game stretch a rookie's ever had to start a career. Pittsburgh's pass rush. It's going to be. This should be a really good game. It really should. And with that being the case, I will say this: I'm taking the under in this game, and I'm going to take Mike Tomlin, the experienced veteran, and T.J. Watt and that defense. I'm going to take them getting the 3 points. I'm going to take it. So give me Pittsburgh getting the 3, and I'm taking the under.
See, I think this is a game that could surprise you. I'd go over to 45.5. I don't know why I feel that way. I understand the Steelers' defense is great, but the way the Commanders have been playing, they're able to put up points. They're undefeated 4-0 at home. I like the Steelers getting the 3 because I think it's going to be a close game, but I would take the over as well, although I'm not going to be surprised if the Commanders win, but I'm with you. I would take the Steelers. The experience of Tomlin against a rookie QB I think is going to come into play, but I think that Daniel's still going to have a good game. So, I don't know, Joey, what do you think?
Give me the Steelers outright to win. I don't even want the points. I'm just take them to win the game. I just think they have more experience. I think this is going to be Jaden Daniels' toughest test of the year. Not that he's not going to play well. I don't see him having 3 turnovers or anything like that. I just think this Pittsburgh D is going to give him some looks that he not necessarily has seen before. And, give me 25-20 Steelers.
Wow. All right. There you go, Joey.
Is that over or under?
That's under by 0.5 point.
Yes, sir.
All right, then I'll take the under.
My man, I love it.
And then the game I'll take real quick, we'll go the Sunday night game.
Are you talking what the original
Lions,
Sunday night game was or what the Sunday night game is now?
What was the original? I didn't even know you could already start flexing games out.
I believe the Jets Cardinals was the original.
No, you can't flex game. They don't flex games until after Thanksgiving.
I know the Jets just got flexed out of a primetime game.
Yeah, but they probably flexed them out of one a couple weeks ago.
Maybe I'm wrong there, but I thought I could have sworn they got flexed out of this game.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I like the Sunday night game.
Regardless, I still want to pick that game. They're saying it's even matchup. They're saying no spread on that game.
Wow.
They're saying that the
Lions
Jets
by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, you got the. Oh, you were picking the Lions Texans game. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Lions Texans.
Oh, I
Detroit-
thought you meant that game had no spread.
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
The
The
Jets
Arizona game.
Cardinals game has no spread. No, Lions Texans though, that should be a really good game. Texans at home coming off a loss. The Lions playing like arguably the best team in the league. Their offense has been a juggernaut. Given 3.5, I don't know. But the way the Texans are beat up and the way the Lions are playing, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the Lions just went out and made a trade for a pass rusher as well.
Zadarius
Yeah.
Smith.
Smith, yeah. So,
And your boy comes back too.
who's that? Oh,
Your Alabama boy, Jameson Williams. I believe he comes back.
so again, it just adds more and more to this Lions team. I'm with Joey. I would take the Lions.
I honestly don't even
given
think-
the 3.5, I think, and I
yeah.
like the over in this game because I think the Lions are going to put up points, and I think the Texans are going to try. So I could see the Lions putting up 30 something. I can see the Texans putting up 20 something, and they're going to get over
that's how
that
I see
game.
it.
So I'm with Joey on that. I'm
Yeah,
on both those
I think
picks.
Detroit wins by at least 2 scores, and I definitely am taking the over as well. There's no question about it.
I'm going to bring this
Nice.
game up, though. The only other game I want to bring up is this Jets-Cardinals game, because to me this intrigues me. Jets got to go out west. They've been playing like shit. They had one decent week on a short week where they catch the Texans who were beat up. And now all of a sudden, like, the Jets are good. They're not good.
No.
There's no reason. The Cardinals are 5-4, and they're at home. They should be favored in this game. To me, this is the Aaron Rodgers effect. This is like people still enamored with, oh my God, well, Aaron Rodgers is coming here, so the Jets got to be good, right? They got to be good. Like, no, they're not. He's 42 years old. He's not Aaron Rodgers of 32 years old. He's the Aaron Rodgers of 42 years old. So I'm sorry that I just don't see this. I see Cardinals winning at home. I do. If you're gonna it's a straight up game anyway. There's no spread on it. I'm taking the Cardinals at home. And to be honest, I kind of like the under.
I like the under.
I like the under because the Jets haven't put up any points. Even this past week with a win, they only scored 21. Not like they're blowing teams out.
No.
So I'm sorry. I don't know why the Jets aren't at least getting points in this game. I think people are overestimating Rodgers. And guess what? I think he gets a wake-up call, and the Jets are back down to earth, realizing they're not a good team after this week. I think they got too hyped off of last week's win. We'll have to play wait and see on that, but I think going out west, same as a west team coming east, it's not easy to do all the time. So I get they've had a longer week because they played last Thursday, but at the same time, I don't care. Give me the Cardinals.
Joey?
I'll take the Cardinals. Jets are 1-4 on the road. Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals.
Joey. I don't even have to say it. I just got to look at
I
them.
love it, Joey. You're going full Mike Aguilar right now. It's great. It's so
Bro,
great.
I'm going. Well, I'm not positive, bro. I'm
No, but
miserable,
you're
Joey.
using the
It's
reverse
just-
psychology.
Yeah, just some of
Let's go.
the things you said and how you said them, bro. It's pure Mike Aguilar. Shout out to Mike if
Shout out
he's
to
out
Mike.
there listening. Yeah, so
I'd love to get Mike's take if they actually signed Juan Soto, because I think it might be one of the happiest days in Mike's life.
I'll take the under in this one, but I'm
You want to take them, don't you? You want
I
to?
do. You know what? Give me the Jets, just to be different. Yeah, I'll stick with the under with you guys, but give me the Jets coming out with the win. Since there's no.
And
spread.
Joey, you got any thoughts really quick just while we're on the Jets before we get out of here? One thing I want to throw out about the Jets. I hear they're mistreating Fireman Ed. I heard they're not giving him the love that he used to get. Are you hearing the same? Do you have any thoughts on Fireman Ed? Do you care about Fireman Ed at all as a Jet fan? But like he's like the Jet hype man on home games, and apparently he's not getting treated the same as he used to.
Here's my question. Why are we having this conversation? That's how I feel about Fireman Ed.
Joey's like he's a fan. He does not play the game.
I could care less about
But
a
it could be the
stupid
curse
fan.
of Fireman Ed. It could be the curse here.
I
Maybe
could
he's
care less about a stupid fan. If we are rooting for a fan, there is something wrong with our organization, which there
He's
obviously
the
is.
super fan, though. He is the
I
Jet fan.
could
When you talk about
care
Jet fans,
less,
when you
bro.
talk about like the people who dress up as like the
come
Hogs
to
down in
MetLife
Washington, or
Stadium,
the dog pound in Cleveland or whatever, or the Raider Nation stuff that they do out there where they paint their faces and wear all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, but do you know any of their actual names? Do you know any of their fan names?
No, but I know Fireman Ed. I know Ed's name. I know his first name.
You're gonna make
I could
Joey
care less about Fireman Ed.
order an Uber just to come over here and slap you.
He wishes he had a
Come to
turkey in his hand
MetLife
right now.
Stadium. Come to MetLife and chant with Fireman Ed.
It's about the most exciting
Get
thing
it
you
out
guys
of
can
my
offer
life.
right now, though.
You rock.
Get it out of my life.
Go
I'm
ahead.
stealing one of these.
Go for it.
Home.
So, but yeah, no, I just had to bring that up. Didn't mean to
was
rile
funny,
you up
Eric.
there, Joey. But yeah.
Joey's like, my Uber will be here at 5. I'll be there in 20. Eric, get ready for my tortilla slap, bitch.
Better have a fresh pack waiting.
Oh, shit. Miss you,
That's-
Joey. Wish you were here, bud.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next week.
Miss you guys
Hopefully the car issues get settled. Hopefully we can all be back in the studio here. I guess I'll call it a studio. More of an office, but we're making it a studio too. And by the way, if you're still rocking with us, like, subscribe, follow, share on your way out.
It's
you know,
free. It's fun.
and if you've listened this long, why the hell wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why not? Do all those free fun things for us. Help us grow. In the meantime, you can find us anywhere at Die on This Hill on Google, on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts. You can find me at The Living Legend on X/Twitter. And you can find Dave there as well. Dave, where can they find you?
I would be. Shit, I always mix them up. D Hastings 23
on
is X. Twitter D Hastings 23 on X/Twitter. X. Woo.
No, David Hastings 23.
It's yeah. See, I gotta mix.
David
up.
Hastings is X.
David Hastings 23 is my Twitter handle /X handle, and then D Hastings 23 is my Instagram, and.
You follow
That's
Louis'
it.
Instagram too.
Yeah, follow Louis' Instagram. He probably
He's at Louis
posts
Aussie
more than I
Dude
do.
on Instagram. And Joey, where can they find you?
I am on Instagram doing that Joey Doth 47.
What's that Doth
standing
stand
for? Die
for?
on this hill. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Mr. Joey.
And until next time,
Well, no, did you put it? Is it
don't be afraid to have an opinion. And
Is it on mine? Is it on mine? No.
no, it's just on
No,
mine.
it's only on
He's
his.
such a hog, man. She.
I tried to say
Dude,
that
the one
way.
time he did it on my mic, Joey, I don't even. This was before you started joining us. This guy put it on my mic and he couldn't figure out how to shut it off. It was hysterical. Like we literally did like a 25-minute segment just sounding like squirrels because he couldn't figure out how to shut it off. So, but Mr. Joey, thank you to everybody out there listening. We appreciate y'all. Until next week, like, subscribe, follow, share, do all them things. We appreciate
And don't be
y'all. We out.
afraid to have an opinion. And die on this hill.
Let's go.
Woo!
All right,
Oh, we forgot to say something.
we're good. Yeah.
That Aussie Olympic breakdancer is offering $10,000 for a competition if anyone could beat her at breakdancing.
She's just. Hang on.
She's just using it as publicity. We're still streaming live to YouTube, by the way. But we did cut the podcast. So this is live feed only stuff. This is live feed only stuff. So I mean, we could bring it up real quick, but I think it's absolutely absurd. Anybody who challenges her could beat her. She's a joke. And I think whatever
I
she's
agree.
offering
Did
is
she
a
medal?
joke. Is her husband or,
No, she
or
didn't medal.
family member judging this competition the way he
Yeah,
was
right.
judging the
Are
Australian
her
one?
children judging this and they gotta pick mommy? Like, is that the case?
I'm sure she's the judge.
She
Yeah,
ruined breakdancing for the Olympics, and I'll never forgive her for that. Because not that I'm a breakdancer, nobody's ever going to see me spinning around on my head. But at the same time, there's an art form to it, and that you have to be talented to do it. And she made a mockery of it, and because of that, it was a one and done in the Olympics. You're never going to see it again in the Olympics, not anytime soon, anyway. And it's sad that one person, but again, one bad apple can spoil the bunch. She's that bad apple, and now she's trying to make herself something from it. And I'm sorry, but I'm not here for it. Go back to Australia, hop around with the kangaroos, and stay the hell away from breakdancing.
I definitely wouldn't hop around with the kangaroos, though. Those dudes are jacked.
Yeah, let them punch her right in the
Those
face
dudes
for
are
these stupid
jacked.
ideas.
And it's not fair they can just rest on the tail and kick you, too. Like, they can come from all angles. It's not right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I wouldn't mess with no kangaroos. But you know what I'm going to mess with?
Some food?
Some food, man. I'm
let's
starving,
do that.
guys.
Joey.
Go get it in your belly.
I'm starving, so.
Joey, we are ending the stream.
yeah,
Thank you
we're-
all for joining us. Anybody
Later,
who
bro.
joined us,
Appreciate
we
you,
love you.
Joey.
We
Miss you,
appreciate
brother.
you. And we will
Miss
see you
you
soon.
too, bro. See you guys soon.